Hi everybody, I'm Gino with Geisinger Radiology, class of 2022. Some of us residents just wanted to show off what Danville, Pennsylvania has to offer beyond the stellar education we'll receive with us. Given that it's a rural area, some people might write it off when making their rank lists or for any attendings out there trying to decide where to settle down. But we just wanted to show that we have absolutely no regrets about living in central Pennsylvania. Danville itself has a population of about 5,000, and yes, it is the sort of place where you might rarely catch a tractor rolling down Main Street. And I do laugh at the juxtaposition between a horse lashed up in front of our multi-million-dollar hospital for advanced medicine. But given that we serve a large Amish population, it does happen. What the area does make for is an incredibly affordable cost of living. Housing is very inexpensive. My 3-bedroom house has a mortgage of a little over $700 a month. And given that there are over 50 residencies and fellowships at Geisinger at the main hospital alone, there's a lot of turnover from year to year. So residents made a website, which we can link in the description, to sell to one another, to oncoming residents. Most residents live right in town. That makes their commute about 5 minutes. It actually takes me longer to walk from my car to my station than it does for me to drive in. Aside from that, there are a few people who live in the college towns nearby, Lewisburg and Bloomsburg. Those are about 20 or 30 minutes away. As for what to do once you're actually living in the area, here are a few of our residents talking about some of their favorite things around here.
I think my favorite thing about this program is the fact that all the residents and even the attendings, everyone takes it seriously. Like, everyone wants to have fun on their time off. Like, I like that we actually have a dedicated social chair that takes initiative, plans all these events, and I like that the events are actually all fun.
Yeah, for sure. We did a bunch of different fun things last year. Axe throwing was my favorite, organized by Dr. Don, our old program director. And we did paintballing, ice skating, brought a lot of kids and families out. We had trivia on Wednesdays. Mini golf was cool too. But I think it's awesome that the program, covers it with their funds too for spouses and kids. And overall, it's just nice to get together as a group and meet your co-residents' kids or hang out with attendings outside of work and just get to know them a little bit. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we all genuinely enjoy hanging out together besides outside of work, may it be from celebrating birthdays or even grabbing dinners on Saturdays together. And
I love our wine nights too. But I think it's possible because we all have spacious houses with nice backyards. We can get together and it's possible to do that, so.
Yeah, definitely. I think we get the most out of this city like that too. I feel like every weekend we almost do something fun as long as we're not on call.
Every year we have a welcome dinner and a graduation dinner. It's at a barn in Bloomsburg. The residents and their families go together with the attendings and their families, and we just spend a couple hours together. When the weather's nice, we sit outside, and it's just a beautiful venue to have something like that.
Yeah, and generally it's twice a year, so it's something definitely to look forward to get to hang out with everyone and just have a good time.
There's a lot of great stuff to do around Danville. If you have a family or friends that you want to spend your time with. So there are a ton of farms that do things like pumpkin patches in the fall and berry picking and stuff in the summer. There are farmers markets and growers markets in the area that have some of the best snickerdoodles that I've ever had in my life. There's a beautiful library in town which has its own book club, and there are a number of other book clubs as well, but it's the most gorgeous restored library that I've ever seen, and it has just an incredible selection of both contemporary and older books. And then we also have a drive-in movie theater. We have just all kinds of stuff to play, playgrounds, hiking and biking trails, and really all of these things that you could possibly want to spend your time doing.
Every season there's a festival in Danville and in most of the surrounding towns where you can get art from local artists, you can get food from local restaurants or local chefs or food trucks.
We have the Iron Heritage Festival that celebrates the heritage of Danville as an iron producing town. And then that always has a whole lot of arts and crafts and car shows and a whole bunch of other things about the history of Danville.
And fireworks.
Oh, thank you. There are fireworks, and it's right after the 4th of July where there are more fireworks. And then we also have like arts and crafts festivals. We have an apples and ale festival, a spring fling festival. It's almost like an episode of the Gilmore Girls sometimes.
But if the outdoors is more your speed, there's plenty to do around here. We're real close to a number of major parks, including Ricketts Glen, which has beautiful waterfalls, Montour Preserve, as well as World's End. There's also a number of places that you can go camping, fishing, hunting.
Right, and don't forget about the Susquehanna. I mean, we have an awesome river that flows right through here. Remember that one time we drove up, dropped a bunch of tubes on top of it, and just floated down to the end?
There's a ton of different biking trails nearby. We got Pine Creek Gorge, it's a good 60 miles right in the mountains. Ton of rail trails throughout the city.
Right.
Even behind the hospital, there's a ton of different small hiking trails you can take.
Yeah, and you take your bike out all this, right?
Yeah, all week.
We have many food options in the area. In particular, my favorites are BJ's M Street Tavern that has a delicious steak sandwich and a really cute patio seating area in the back. And I like OIP, Original Italian Pizza's meatball parms. If you're in the mood for Asian food, we have Ru that has the most delicious Singapore noodles that I've had. And we have the aptly named John's Asian Cuisine that's a Thai and hibachi place. We're also really looking forward to House of Naan opening up soon in Bloomsburg. In terms of Mexican food, we have Galera Dos is just across the street, and we have J Zapata over in Bloomsburg. If you're looking for something quick to just pick up after call, we have a variety of different fast food restaurants, even though we're a rural area.
And this rural area absolutely loves its brew pubs. I can hop in my car and be at two of my favorites within about 5 minutes. There's always a growler of Rock God beer in my fridge, and whenever me and my wife go for a refill, the owners, Ben and Gary, greet us by name, which my wife loves. What my wife probably loves a little less is when me and Gary get into political arguments, and he'll pour us one more after closing just to get last licks. Other than Rock God and Old Forge here in Danville, there's a whole network of breweries in the area. They're all on what's called the River Rat Brew Trail. Every year you can pick up a stamp book and go around to each of them over the summer, pick up some swag, and have a good time with friends. In fact, last year as a going away for the class of 2020, some of us rented a limo. We went around to as many as we can fit in one evening before coming back here for just one big last hurrah. But even if you don't drink, a lot of them have great food. Turkey Hill, for instance, or some of them will have food trucks on site like Covered Bridge or Rock God. As for how to burn off all those calories, I'm probably not the best guy to ask. You might want to try Mark and Krista for a better idea.
There's a lot of things to do for fitness here at Danville. We've done CrossFit together. You've done a lot of the yoga stuff.
Yeah, so there's a local yoga studio in town, and they do a lot of cool events like Yoga on Tap. That's the last Sunday of every month where you go to a yoga session and they give you 2 beers with it. You get to try different ones.
There's lots of local gyms around here. There's Anytime Fitness in town. There's a Planet Fitness in Bloomsburg.
A lot of the times we'll walk the dogs along the river. There's lots of trails in the area that we take the dogs, so that's good exercise too.
If you're still looking for some fun things to do in the area, there are a couple nearby attractions that you can go to with your family or other residents. For example, there's the Poconos, where you can go skiing. They have some resorts and some cute small bed and breakfasts. They also have a huge indoor water park. Also, Knoebels is one of the largest free admission theme parks. So even if you don't particularly enjoy all the roller coasters, you can still go there for the food. In the fall, we have the Bloomsburg Fair. This is a great place to go if you're craving those unhealthy fried foods, or if you just want to ride some rides and play some games. A couple seasonal events come through the area, including Chris Kindlemarkt in Mifflinburg, and there's also a fun ice sculpture competition that goes on in Lewisburg.
Danville has a summer concert series every summer, hosting some regional acts right in one of our little parks here. Spyglass Ridge Winery has an outdoor venue where they can bring a little bit bigger names. A crew of us went out last year to see The Sweet and Bret Michaels. For the biggest bands, it's a short trip for a weekend in a major city. We've seen Greta Van Fleet in Philly, Tool over in Newark, a couple of shows in New York City, and the Mohegan Sun Casino in the Poconos has huge concerts as well. I really like how Dr. Strickland, who is a 35-year veteran of Danville and one of our former residents, how she explains the advantage of that close proximity to major cities.
And I have to tell you, one of the things my mentors told me was that Danville, Pennsylvania is the center of the universe. You move to Danville, you think you're in a small rural place, which you are, and you get all the pluses of living in a small place. You can be in New York City, downtown, 3 hours. Philadelphia, 2.5 hours if I drive. And Washington, D.C., 3.5. I mean, how many places can you live in a small town environment with a tertiary care center and be able to go for a weekend to some of the largest and best cities in the U.S.? It's a great place to live.
A lot of the residents tend to come back as attendings. For instance, more than half my classes come back, 4 out of the 7 of us. We don't plan on leaving the system anytime soon. And I know the rest of my classmates that are now attendings are planning on staying long-term as well. And I think that speaks volumes to how our program is and how people enjoy being here. And they see other places and decide to come back. It's just a great place to work, a great place to be. It's good for families in the area.
And I was gonna say, just in general, I've met so many people that grew up in Danville and then actually move away and ended up coming back here to live for the rest of their lives. So I think that speaks a lot to the area in general.
The greatest thing that this area and this program have going for it are the people. In my short time here, I've made a lot of close friends, and not just within the program. GI fellows, surgery residents, occupational therapists, our technologists. We all cut loose on the weekends. And maybe we take the chance to rub in how great of a specialty radiology is compared to theirs. And these aren't just friendships of convenience. They're the sort where you get a group of 10 people together to fly across the country and visit somebody at their fellowship. So for all those reasons and more, I and everyone else in the program wouldn't trade our time here in Danville for anything. So consider us for your training or your career. And we'd be excited to have you be part of our program.